Good morning, boat lovers. Just got the heater on there to get that epoxy warmed up. I'm going to attempt to do the adjacent panel to this one on the other side of the boat this morning. Pretty cold, so the first thing I'm going to do is get this peel ply off, and I think I'm going to tidy things up a bit. I'm going to cut out the fiberglass cloth from these windows here. Just go around, trim all the edges up on the wheelhouse roof, for example. So up there, I'm going to trim those edges off, and anywhere else that I can find that's just got any little rough bits of fiberglass sticking out, I'm going to trim those up. I've got a friend of mine coming to visit on Saturday, and he'll probably want to have a bit of a look over the boat, so it's a good excuse for me to get some things tidied up. As I say, it's pretty cold this morning, definitely too cold for glassing, but I'll get things tidied up. That'll warm me up, trim off the excess, and then just run the orbital over the edges to smooth things up. And as I say, get the peel ply off from what we did a couple of days ago when Rob was here. I did show you the panel on the other side of the boat, but we also got this one done. This one actually went really smoothly. I used the roller to spread the epoxy instead of the squeegee, and that worked really, really well. So I'm a bit annoyed with myself I wasn't using that earlier, because it really did make short work of things. All right, let's get some of this peel ply off and get things tidied up. Hello boat lovers, welcome aboard. I'm Steve, and I'm single-handedly building Dragonfly. She's a 53-foot or 16.2 metre flat-bottom wooden riverboat. She includes twin outboards, aft cabin, galley, a saloon, wheelhouse, separate head and shower, and a centerline queen double up front. She's specifically designed for the sheltered and inland waters of the River Murray here in South Australia. Join us each week to watch the mayhem and madness of one man and his rescue dog building a massive 53-foot flat-bottom wooden riverboat. All right, let's whiz over the other side and get that other lot of peel ply off from the panel we did over there. All right, really pleased with that. As I say, now I'm going to get my box cutter and just start to cut out all these panels and trim everything off. So As I said, definitely too cold for glassing, but I can get that done. I just realised I've got some more of this peel ply to pull off before I do the trimming. It's that cold, I don't think my brain's working very well this morning. I know I just cut that fiberglass panel out up at the back of the wheelhouse, but I'm thinking if I leave this in place for now, they're not going to stop me sanding, and I might as well leave them there until I paint, because that's going to stop paint going through onto the inside. Whether I spray or roll, I think I'm going to roll it, but then I'm not going to have to mask up around these windows, so I might as well leave the cloth there. I think it's going to make it easy. Got to win sometimes. Yeah, let me know what you think. Should I leave that in place until I've finished painting, and then I can just trim them out, seal the end grain of the plywood before I put the windows in? That will hopefully save me a lot of masking up time. Alrighty, I will get behind the orbital and get this cleaned up. Stay down, down. I'm at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. stay down, down. I'm at the bottom of the ocean. I'm at the bottom of the sea. I'm gonna stay down, down. That is coming along really well. Sanding those top edges where the fiberglass is hanging down, and I trimmed it off with the knife. It just sands off really easily with the orbital, just lightly backwards and forwards, beautiful smooth edge. And I thought while I was at it, I might as well start cleaning this up just while I'm in the same spot. That's a really nice curve. It's a bit of an optical illusion because we've got this white filler here. It looks like it's got a hump in it, but it hasn't. Once that's painted, that'll be a lovely smooth curve there. Show you the inside of that. Got a little bit more filling to do, just a tiny bit here, just in this little edge. A few dips, but that first layer is great. And that's going to be a really nice solid edge for walking up and down, and that's lovely and smooth now. So really happy with that. Now I'm going to just whiz around the other side, take my vacuum cleaner and stuff around to the other side of the boat and trim that wheelhouse roof on the other side. And then I'll have a wander around and just sort of work my way down, see if I can find any sharp edges or anything, and just give them an initial touch up. Of course, before painting, you know, I have to go over the whole boat, give it a light sand, and then mark any areas where the fiberglass hasn't taken, or if there's a gap or any divots or things like that, and do a final touch up. But so far, I have to say I'm really pleased with it. So I'm going to get that side tidied up, and then it should be warm enough to do this side panel that I was talking about earlier. Looking forward to getting that done, this one here. And now I've started using that foam roller for laying the resin on. It's so much quicker and more even than the squeegee, certainly for working on a vertical surface anyway. And for the life of me, I don't really know why I wasn't using them before. I was aware of them. I've seen other people doing it, but I've just always been using a squeegee, and squeegee's great down on the horizontal surface, but for vertical surfaces, I have to say that roller did a great job. And when Rob and I put this panel on here, it was so quick. It was less than half the time it took us to do the panel on the other side. The other thing is, instead of trying to lay the glass all the way down around this curve and over the edge, I tabbed this out with fiberglass tape first along this edge, and I put one panel of glass there and another panel here, which made it much easier to put into place. And the same with the peel ply, because with this curve in here, if you put the glass or the peel ply on here and then you try to smooth it out, as soon as you're smoothing this surface here, it pulls all the glass out from this fillet. So to do it in a couple of pieces is actually, it's a bit more cutting, and you get a few threads and, you know, loose ends sticking around, but it actually makes for a tidier, stronger, better job. So that's what I'll be doing here as soon as I've tidied up the rest of these edges. Alrighty, back to the orbital. Definitely using my breathing mask for doing these high areas with the glass edges, because the dust, of course, is falling down towards me. And I try to use this whenever I'm actually sanding fiberglass anyway. It's annoying, but got to be safe. And I've also got brand new filters in this, so it's easy to breathe through, and it's going to do a really good job. Right, we're getting this top edge done. Might tidy anything up along that edge there, this side here, and that will be enough, I think. Getting close to lunchtime by then, and I'll put that other panel on. The weather today is quite good. but the last 2 days have been about 7 degrees, so just too cold to be in the shed, too cold for glassing. Today's about 14 and it's a clear day, so the sun has hit the shed roof and it's actually not too bad in here now. When I first came in, started videoing a couple of hours ago, that was really pretty chilly, but it's certainly starting to warm up. So I've got the heater going on the epoxy to warm that up a little bit. The shed's warm enough and I'm warm enough, so no excuse not to get it done. Well, I am astounded at how easily that sands back, trimming up those edges. The peel ply does a great job and really makes that sanding so much easier than if I wasn't using it. Alrighty, I only get this side edge done now. This will need some more filler as well, but I'll get the initial sanding done to just get it shaped nicely, and then we'll be ready to do a final little fill in there. I won't be doing that till next week, but I thought while I'm here with the sander, I might as well get this done. Definitely need a new sanding disc for this bit. For anyone who's curious, I tend to use an 80 grit sanding pad for just about everything. If I want something finer, I'll go to a 120, but the 80 grit, good all round grit size for most things that I need to do. Sometimes I'll use an 80 grit that's quite a used pad if I don't want to cut in too hard. And as I say, for a fine finish, I'll go for a 120. But 80 it is today, so let's do it. As Nike says, let's just do it. I reckon it was probably a boat builder who thought of that slogan. that's come up pretty well. I'll have one more lot of filling to do to touch this up. Then I'll be able to do a final sand and get all that fed in nicely. That's great. Gunnel's going to come along here, and I don't know whether my gunnel rail is going to stop here or taper off, and then the gunnel from the lower part of the deck here will probably come past and taper in. So this one will taper in there, and this one will taper back that way, to make sure that if we rub against a jetty or something else, that there's no way that a post can catch on any of this. That's the plan anyway. We'll work that bit out when we get to it. Right now, I have to make a decision whether I have lunch or do that panel. Decisions. I'll have a break for a couple of minutes and then cut out some glass for that panel on the other side and bite the bullet and get it done. It's always harder on your own, but I'm used to working on my own, so I'm confident I'll get that done. Alrighty. Just a little bit of moisture on here from the roof, from condensation overnight, just in one little tiny spot. Oh, and over there. 2 spots. Just covering this with plastic to keep any dust off it, because I'm often blowing off the roof of the boat and the decks and things. I don't want bits of grit or anything getting into my fiberglass, so I just cover it with a drop sheet, and that works pretty well. Alright boat lovers, so ends another epic week in the boat shed. If you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and Maple and I will see you guys back in the boat shed next week. Meanwhile, Boat safely, take care, look after yourselves, and we'll see you next week. Bye.